Welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Well, let's see what we got here. Plenty of stuff, a few things, etc., etc., etc. Okie doke. All right, let's bust out of here. Quickly get a little distance. Make sure we don't have any nasty things about. We don't, so... All right, now, what direction do I need? I need that way. All right. Okay, moving onward, continuing onwards to the FarLands. All right, well, here we are, the 367th day, Minecraft day, since leaving spawn. And, let's see, the world size, 4,414.41 megabytes. Pretty cool. All those fours. That was kind of something. Anyway, let's see. Continuing onwards here. I know I've been a little bit lax in the episodes recently. It seems like I'm managing to get one about every 5 to 7 days, and that's not exactly what I call what I want to do. You know, ideally, I would like to be doing like I was for quite a while. Every other day was great. And I'm not sure what quite put me off the stride, so to speak, you know, off the pattern, off of the thing that I was doing. I don't know how I managed to get off of that, but I did. Oh, well. Anyway, I think I'm going to try, as in make a sincere effort to get back to the every other day thing. I liked that. It was good, enjoyable, and I mean, seriously, this is the one time where I'm recording a game where it is total, complete gimme. It is. It's a total, complete gimme. It's a freebie. Because recording this is just so easy. You start recording, you walk for 3 days and talk and yammer about whatever, and then you dig in and call an end to the episode and so on. It's about the easiest content you can get, practically. And I love it because it's a complete no-stress recording, and most of the time it's a single clip recording. It makes for quick and easy editing and so on. Quick and easy, practically non-existent editing, really. No, I'm not going to get this through there, and there's no point anyway because there's nothing over there. All right. Oh. And then, of course, I just tried to hit left shift to get out of the boat. And then I just now tried to sprint. Well, at least killing the chickens works like it always did. Just barely. I don't know why it is, but the chicken seems to have a hitbox about the size of its eyeball. Yeah. Anyway, so here we are, moving onward. And the first thing I did was complain about I'm not doing these things often enough. Well, I guess I just need to take the time, stop whatever else I'm doing, and get to it. You know, it's just that simple. And just get her done. Because, hey, why not? Alright, let's see. Boat. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm stuck. Come on, boat. We're burning time here. It's moving. Ah, here we go. And now we're moving in the right direction. Alright. Looks like I might get through over there. Anyway, let's see, what's been going on? Oh, okay, I tell you what. I had something happen the other day that was a complete, what the is going on kind of moment. I went down to check the mail, which is, generally speaking, not something I do very often because, well, I have a saying, no mail is good mail. And this is because 99% of the time, or perhaps even more, whatever is in the mail is not something I want. Advertisements, a local free newspaper that isn't a newspaper, it's an ad sheet, because there is no news in it. It's all advertising all the time, which is fine if that's what you're looking for, and the fact that it's free makes it okay, you know, but I hardly ever look at it, you know. 99% of the time, almost always when I open the mailbox and find that in there, I throw the thing away without even looking at it. And then, of course, there's bills, utility bills and stuff like that. There's a few things that arrive in the mailbox that I have to deal with. But most of it is stuff that I throw away before even going back into the house. You know, I leave the mailbox and I go back up to where the trash bin is and I sort the mail. And almost all of it goes into the garbage before I even go in the house. Which is appropriate because that's what it is, really. But this time, when I opened the mailbox, I got quite the surprise. No, there was not a check for $82 million in there because that would have been awesome. There was not actual $82 million because that wouldn't have fit. And so on. But what there was in the mailbox was at least 82 million ants. Busily and crazily crawling around in and on the mail. I mean, the number of these little buggers, and these were little teeny tiny micro-sized ants, the smallest kind of ants you ever seen. Very small. They're so small you can't even notice that they're multi-legged creatures. They're just like little dots that move, you know. And there was, I swear there must have been 82 million of them. And they're in there all over everything in the mailbox. I mean, it was like a cloud, an active moving cloud, crawling on the mail and between the pieces of mail and into any bit of it that was open and so on. I basically pulled everything out of the mailbox and just tossed it on the ground because just doing that got me covered with ants crawling all over me. And I gotta tell you, I hate that. That was ugly. So I managed to pick through the mail for the few pieces that I needed to keep, you know, my electric bill and my phone bill and my water bill and my car insurance bill, you know, those I needed to keep. Everything else went in the bin. And that was like about 2 weeks worth of mail. That's right, I don't check the mail very often because, again, no mail is good mail, so why bother? I got better things to do, like sit and watch chrome bumpers rust. You know. Okay, not literally, but that gives you an idea, I hope, of what I think of what usually arrives in the mail. I feel the same way about email, only email is even worse because it never, ever stops. The actual mail only happens once a day. Anyway, so there's 11 bajillion, 82 million, whatever. So many ants you couldn't count them all. In the mailbox. Crawling all over the mail and all over everything. And it's just amazing. I don't think I'd ever seen that many of them in one place at one time. There was a lot going on. And, well, and my biggest thought was, how did they get in there? And why? Because while I'm no expert or anything, I do know that generally speaking, ants are not going to mass in that kind of numbers unless they have a reason to. Such as there is some kind of food or something in there that they are gathering up like crazy. You know, I've seen that sort of thing in maybe not to that number, but the idea was, you know, somebody throws an ice cream cone or a dish of ice cream or something out in the yard, and you come out an hour later and it's almost gone, and it's crawling with ants all over everything. And they are just basically going like crazy, taking it apart and taking it into their hive or anthill or whatever it is that they have, and so on. And this was like that in the mailbox. And I'm thinking, okay, I generally don't keep or throw away foodstuffs into the mailbox. This is not a thing. I don't do that. And, you know, it's not like the neighborhood is full of kids that would do weird, silly things like this as a prank. Because, well, the area where I live is considered primarily a retirement community. It is mostly populated by older folks, and that includes the neighborhood I live in. And, you know, those folks are not known, shall we say, for doing prankish things like that. You know, it's not very often you see, say, for example, a 65-year-old lady pulling a prank on a neighbor. It's just not something that generally happens. It happens sometimes, yes, there are exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, it doesn't happen. Oh, wow. That looked even better before it fully generated, but it still looks cool. Okay. Screenshot. Yeah. Alright, speaking of seeing things, let's, I actually don't need any wool. Whoops, yeah. Don't need any wood. Okay. For right now. Alrighty. So I can just ignore these life forms and pass on. Alright, so I have no idea why my mailbox suddenly got filled with 82 bajillion ants. Like I said, the idea of a possible prank is kinda not very likely. It's... Excuse me. Now I'm going to have to edit that out. Oh boy. I missed my mute button. I love the new microphone, but I missed my mute button. Oh, well. Anyway. All those ants in the mailbox. If you got an idea why that might happen, I would appreciate a clue, because I don't have one. You know, I don't order anything in the mail hardly ever. And even if I did once in a while, it would not be the kind of thing that would attract ants. I mean, I would never order food by mail or something like that. No, that's just not a thing. That doesn't happen. And I don't know. That was weird. as it is, I do have a plan for dealing with it. I am going to be able to successfully deal with this excessiveness of ants in my mailbox very easily, I think. You see, I've got one of those kitchen sprayers, basically a bottle with a trigger sprayer on the top of it. And, you know, you fill it with whatever, and then you can spray things with that whatever. Huh? Oh. I guess my W key got stuck. That was weird. And so... the one that I have sitting on my kitchen counter is filled with vinegar. Straight raw vinegar. And so what I'm going to do is the next time I go out to the mailbox, I'm going to take that with me. And once I pull out whatever mail is in there, I am going to drown the interior of the mailbox with vinegar. I'm going to spray the daylights out of that thing, to just load it up with vinegar. Because bugs typically don't like to be sprayed with vinegar. It does not attract them. And it does, in fact, give them a strong incentive to go elsewhere. And it very seriously marks the whole area as, let's stay away from there. So that's what I'm going to do. Just treat the whole thing with vinegar and be done with it. I'm still trying to figure out, however, how they all got in there in the first place. Well, not necessarily how so much as why. There wasn't anything in there that shouldn't have been or wouldn't ordinarily have been. You know, it's just an ordinary mailbox that gets assorted paper products put into it, which I then take out and throw most of away. So, I don't know, that was really, really weird. Oh, okay. Another long trip on the ocean, or giant lake, or whatever this is. I used to think of bodies of water like this in Minecraft to be oceans, and then the update came out where they were ginormous mega oceans, and I thought, oh, that other thing must just be a lake or a puddle then. But anyway, in other news, I have for the last several months been doing the best I can to squirrel away a little bit of money here and there, saving up a little bit of, $1 here, a few dollars there, and that sort of thing. Anytime I could. And I've been doing this for the last several months. Because there was something I wanted. And I decided I was going to have it, even if it took me a long time to get to it. Oh, another one already. Just recently, I reached the point where I could get it. Not only that, well, partly because I had been saving up for a few months, but also partly because I found it on sale. And you gotta go with that when you can. And so I ended up getting it. And what I'm talking about is Elite Dangerous and the Horizons update, or DLC, or whatever you call it. So Elite Dangerous and Horizons. And I got them, and in case you're looking for this or thinking about it, you can find it on the Humble store. You know, the folks that bring you the Humble Bundle. Yeah, the Humble store for like $40. $40 US. which is a pretty doggone deal. That's like 33% off. And no, I'm not advertising. I'm just saying, hey, I've been saving up. I found this deal. I got it. This is the deal, and that's where you can find it. Anyway, so I got the thing. Now, the thing about this one was that I decided, back when I decided that I wanted the thing, I decided something else about it too. And that is that if I got it, I was going to get it with the idea that I do not plan to make video with it. And that's the thought. That, I don't know, anything is possible and it might happen, but initially I'm starting out with the idea that I'm getting this for me to play, to have fun with, and to not have the concerns of, oh, well, I got to do such and such and this and such for fresh content for video, and so on. Because there's something that I've noticed that has actually become quite true, at least for me, in that since I started doing game videos, it very quickly reached a point where almost the only time I start up a game is when I am recording or getting ready to record a video. There is actually nothing that I play that is just something that I start up for me. And I decided that I wanted to change that, at least to try changing that. Now, I admit it may not stick. It's entirely possible that I'll end up deciding, oh, what the heck, and do it anyway. But at the very least, I'm going to start out with this thing just having it be something that I do when I have the time and I can spend a few hours with it and just play something to be playing it instead of to be recording with it and all the things that you have to think about when you're recording something. Like this and such takes too long. I'm going to have to cut this and cut that and so on in order to keep it from being a boring video and so on. And I can go ahead and do whatever, even if it is boring, because I'm not making a video with it. And over the last year or two since I decided I wanted the game, I guess it's about a year and a half, something like that, I decided I wanted this thing. I have seen a good amount of video of it. And since getting the thing, I have, well, technically speaking, I have run it for 4 hours, grand total. About half of that time was in figuring out what key bindings to set up, what keys were bound to what, and which ones I wanted to change and to what, and so on, and testing the control scheme and whatnot, and making sure that I actually knew how to do those things and knew what the keys were that did various things. Like, you want to know which key deploys the hard points and gets your weapons ready, and you want to know which one raises and lowers the landing gear, and so forth and so on, and how to steer and navigate and control this and that. So I spent some time getting that figured out, and I don't know if I've actually got it totally figured out, but it's enough to actually control things a little bit. I gotta do something with that TNT one of these days. And then another probably 2 or 3 hours was spent going through tutorial missions, doing some of them several times, because that's a good way to get a feel for how the controls and stuff actually works and how to do some things in the game and whatnot. And that was cool. And then I decided, okay, let's spend a little time in the actual game itself. Now, having seen some videos, a good number of them actually, I do have at least a little bit of a clue, maybe not a very big one, but a little bit of a clue about the kind of things that you would do first starting out in the game. Like, for example, courier and cargo missions, where basically they say, here's this, take it to there, and then come back, or something like that, you know, and they pay you for doing it. Or go out to here and find this and bring it back, and we'll pay you for it, you know, and that sort of things. Or, you know, fetch missions. And other things like you fly out to what's called a resource extraction site. Okay, let's use the water trick. Yeah. Okay, made a little bit of a mess. Don't care. Anyway, so you fly out to this resource extraction site, and what's going on there is you've got ships out there, which could be players or NPCs. It doesn't, you know, they could be either. And what they're doing is mining. They're mining resources out of asteroids or moonlets or whatever is out there. In this case, it was in the rings of a gas giant. A set of rings around a gas giant, and there was a spot in there where there's a bunch of miners extracting resources. And wherever you've got miners extracting resources, sooner or later you have pirates that want to kill the miners and take the resources, and so on. The idea being is you scan the ships around there, and when you find one that indicates that the pilot is wanted, you are then free to shoot at them without having any repercussions from the local law, which also has ships in the area. So I went out to this resource extraction site, and I found what I had come to expect to find from having seen videos. Well, to a degree I did. I found ships that were mining. Everything I scanned indicated that, you know, it shows you either wanted or clean. And everything I scanned was clean. From ships that were mining the asteroids or rocks or whatever that's floating in the rings of this gas giant, to federal security ships, which, of course, they're going to turn up clean. And, yeah, you know what I didn't find? Not one thing out there that was wanted. Not one. So I took the time and I flew out to another such site. Same results. The exact same result. Nobody was wanted. And, you know, and this is basically how your basic newbie in this game is supposed to start out getting a little bit of initial cash. I mean, you start out with like 1,000 credits, but you know, that's basically a joke. It's not enough to do much of anything. And so you go out, you start running missions, or you start doing the bounty hunting, which is pretty much what this is, because when you find somebody that's wanted, you shoot at them, you destroy them, or you wait until the feds start shooting at them, and then start shooting at, basically you shoot at whoever the feds are targeting, and that way when the ship gets destroyed, you end up getting a chunk of the bounty, or reward for having done so. You get bounty paid for that, and this is bounty hunting. And a newbie can do it like that by just waiting for the feds to shoot at something and then joining in the fight. Making sure not to hit the feds, because that would be bad. And this is a way to tank up on some money, so that you can start doing things like digging your overnight hidey hole because you forgot what time of day it was on the third day. Oh, hello. Anyway, but doing things like upgrading one's ship, and or maybe even saving up for a better ship, and so on, and, you know. But in probably an hour and a half or so in the actual game itself, I didn't find anything that was legit to shoot at. Not one. I mean, I checked like 3 resource extraction sites. Now, granted, I did go to resource extraction low, was the kind of sites I went to. Because I figured total noob has been in the game for all... Whoa, no. Oh, well. I didn't mean to sleep in the bed just now. Oh, well. We're in the beginning of the next day already, and I'll have to get these things ready that I normally do before sleeping on the third day. Ay. Oh man, I am so turned around, it isn't funny. Anyway, I'm still going to end it here because I have other things I need to get to. I'm getting ready to do a new episode of Creativerse today as well. So I'm going to get going with that, and we'll continue this next time. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.